Chapters. I'm Lisa Fulmer, and today I'm being a hand model. These are really cool beads that I made with a needle felting technique. It's wool roving. It's really cool. I was working with a hand-dyed variegated wool with all these beautiful colors, but if you can't find that, you can work with solid colors that are really easy to find at your craft store. Let me show you how. So I'm going to take some pieces off and we're going to spread it out into a little square sheet and layer a couple of square sheets on top of each other. Once you have the strands stretched out so they're reasonably flat and consistent, you can fold it over and you've got a nice square, and this is what we're going to roll up. So we're going to take the loose ends and a skewer and just very slowly and carefully roll the wool around the skewer. Then twist that skewer with the wool inside your hand to kind of mat the fibers against each other just a little bit before we start the needle felting. Pull the skewer out very carefully, and I like punching into the upholstery foam because it doesn't grab the wool too much and you can keep it cylindrical. So we're going to take our 5 needle punch and we're going to start punching and rolling at the same time. What we're doing is compacting those fibers and locking them together, but we don't want to flatten out the cylinder. We want to keep it in a roll. After a little while, you'll see the roll is much tighter on this end, and I'm going to continue punching on the other end until the whole roll is nice and dense. When you get to the end and it's going to be a little skinnier and tapered, you can tuck those fibers kind of against themselves. You can even push them against the edge of the roll with your needle punch and punch them into that roll so that you have a fairly even roll from one end to the other. Once you've got it matted down, kind of pinch it and see where you might need to get rid of any lumps, or maybe if it feels a little too loose, you might need to come back in with your single needle and just tighten things up a little bit and just lock those fibers together a little bit more. So now that I've got a nice dense roll, it's like a little wool cigar. Now I'm going to take my sharpest and best fabric shears and start snipping this roll into little segments. And I'm going to make them about a 1/2 inch wide, maybe a little less. And now we're ready to start stringing them. I've got some really nice African recycled glass beads that have a really rough, rustic texture that I think goes really nicely with the wool. I've got some embroidery floss threaded through my needle, and I'm going to look for the end of the spiral. You can tell by the edge is a little bit rougher. And I'm going to put my needle just beside that edge, and I'm going to put it in the center of the bead and push it straight through, and just make sure that I'm going right through the center of the bead. And then I'm just going to start stringing and alternating my beads together until I have a beautiful bracelet. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make a bracelet so that you can be a hand model too. I'm Lisa Fulmer, and I think it's cool to craft.